Our projection of traffic that we use to determine whether or not a project needs to proceed is based on not historical traffic growth, but it's actually based on projections given by industry that say, yes, in the next 25 to 30 years, we expect to be doing this much more business between Canada and the US. The good news is the long-term picture for trade between Canada and the US is expected to continue to increase. I say it's good news, but people may differ.
I'm here tonight because it sounds like I'm going to have a highway in my backyard. And I had heard a lot on the radio, and I'm concerned.
It's exceptional.
It's going to cost a fortune.
It's consultants run amok.
This is all economics. This was transportation routes. It wasn't about people.
It sort of gets boiled down to a technical exercise, and the effects of this on people's lives can be lost. The people who are going to be affected by this, you wonder just how much of a voice do they really have in all of this, and who's going to ultimately carry the day?
This place is so rich in heritage and history. And of course we have our murals all over depicting, this one is the founding of Sandwich, which is a beautiful mural. You'll see them all over in here. It's all to do with the history of Sandwich, some of them with medical, with the black history, with the marine history. And of course the Duff Bobby House, which is the oldest in this area. And both their house and my house, the McGregor Cowan, were very active in the War of 1812, in the Fenian raids in 1838, 1839. Then back in here is United Church, which faces on Sandwich Street. They're celebrating their 100 years this year. They're building there. People like to think of this as all like industrial, but it's not. Apartment building here right at Chippewa Street, right on that curve. That's Prospect, and that's the one that we want to draw the line in the sand with. That's it. This is as much as we'll compromise and work with you. After that, they have a battle on their hands.
I don't understand, frankly, why anybody would want to live there. I understand the attachment that people have to their homes, but to live on a truck expressway, to have trucks blocking your home so you can't get in or out, to breathe in the fumes if trucks idle, is something that I don't understand.
It's really quite a very unique house and on a very nice lot, and we really enjoy it, even with all the trucks and all the traffic.
Just a mess. You got roughly 10 schools in this area and almost 10 churches in this same area, all between Cabana Road and Kuzno Road. All going to be disrupted, you know. You got people living there.
We got involved because of the City of Windsor's Schwartz report, which tried to circumvent the process. It tried to circumvent a full environmental assessment. The city denies that now, but we have it in writing. So we got involved because of that. They were presenting the Schwartz report, literally saying this will bring the least amount of harm to the fewest number of people. But that was completely unsupported by any of Schwartz's studies. In fact, it was contradicted. The road through Ojibwe, according to Schwartz, would affect more people and more houses, but those people live in LaSalle. It would affect the least amount of Windsor voters, because everyone, the bottom line would be, oh, it's got to go somewhere, because it's not going in my backyard, right? And see, look at Ojibwe is my backyard, so as a NIMBY, not in my backyard, it's a different story than if my backyard were a transportation corridor of some kind.
Regardless of whether their positions that these neighbors in these residential areas showed up after the traffic, they're there now. They're there today. They're there. And they're entitled to a right to a quality of life. And we as a council and myself and the entire community are not prepared to forfeit our right to a better quality of life.
Well, I'm not saying anyone's a good guy or anyone's a bad guy, but like I say, I bought the property because for myself, I mean, this is a piece of country in the city. And I mean, you just don't find a piece of property like this here anywhere else in the city. With the proposed bridge coming through, I think it's going to have a big decrease in property values over here because, like I say, if I don't want to live here, what's going to make that someone's castle to come over here and say, hey, I'll buy that place, you know?
You know, being an environmentalist, I'd like to think that we can get past, having to ship everything in diesel belching trucks. You know, everybody breathes the same air in Windsor. And, you know, the closer you are to all the trucks, it's going to be the worst. But our prevailing winds come out of the west, so we're breathing the air from Zug Island and all the way down into. So we can't pretend that just because I don't live right next to the truck traffic, it's not affecting me.
You mentioned before that, like, you guys don't like to keep your windows open. Why is that?
Usually don't, just because partly the noise, and I mean, on a day when we're feeling really environmentally conscious, we probably don't want to. We probably don't want to be breathing in that stuff that they're obviously dumping out right now. I mean, the siding on like the house or anything just kind of shows how much soot there constantly is, and all that stuff, and fine particulate matter, I'm sure, is going into my lungs constantly.
I live really close to the highway as it is. I'm 2 blocks in, and just being a runner, running in Windsor, I always tend to get a little bit out of breath, winded. I cough a lot more when I'm out of town, up north, or at the cottage. It's not like that. Just kind of wonder. Okay, I'm living with it now. Members of my family have asthma in Windsor, and if it's something that's in my family, how come my relatives in other cities don't have that?
People who are making the profits don't pay the cost. The cost is being paid in destabilized climate, and the cost is being paid in health impacts, reduced air quality. So we really need to come to grips with the heavy dependence on truck traffic right across Canada. But it really comes to a head in a bottleneck area like the Windsor-Detroit crossing.
Yeah, my first question is, does the federal provincial government consider diesel particulate matter a carcinogen? I'll let anybody answer that.
I honestly don't know that one, Kevin. I'd have to find out from, I don't think they published anything that suggests it's a carcinogen, but I'd have to check on that.
You've been studying the truck issue for a couple of years and you guys don't even know if diesel particulate matter is a carcinogen or not?
We've been reading a number of documents that suggest there's no clear link yet, so I haven't read anything that makes it definitive one way or the other.
The scientific evidence is quite clear that there really isn't a safe level for exposure to diesel particulate. The human lungs can take, and it's like a lot of other aerosol particles that embed in the lungs. You do have a health risk at very low levels.
The goal of this project is not to improve air quality. Will air quality improve along Huron Church? I don't know. We have not finished doing the studies yet.
People here know that the MOE did their testing on July the 4th, when all the industry in the States were closed down for the American Independence holiday. There was no traffic on Huron Line. I've taken pictures, and your scientists tried to get that past people at the University of Windsor. And some of my people were there that day. We were flabbergasted that, our neighborhood was literally being, screwed into a report that there was no data for.
I just want to make a clarification. I'm not from the MOE.
but you're basing it on that material. And that data is going to be assessed for the next 10 years on that particular date in the next situation. I just wanted to let everybody know that these things are happening. You know, I know you're not from the MOE.
No, that study was a very short-term study, and it was done, it's not conclusive in any way, shape, or form.
I just wanted you to be aware that you're fighting an uphill battle right now, because the people here literally live with this odor, this pollution. You know, when we wake up in the morning, we don't know if it's going to be a sulfur day, a benzene day, a chlorine day. You know, we don't look to see if it's going to be sunny or rainy. We just know that, you know, the day is going to be smelly, you know, period. It's great that you're looking at the information and you're aware of the problems or the drawbacks, but the problem is, in the future, you're not going to be here, and we're going to have 30 to 40,000 trucks a day adding to what we already have.
One of the things that we have to be conscious of in this whole process is the fact that we will have community groups that have emerged, new ones that might, as the fact is that sometimes they're criticized for being NIMBY, not my backyard. I think that's unfair in terms of the perspective of seeing that as a negative. We need people to care about their communities, and if that creates some uncomfortable moments, it creates some controversy, it creates some challenges, that's fine, because people really need to feel that their neighborhoods and their community around them is worth saving and improving and enhancing.
Keeping their face. Don't go away. Don't come and go. As some groups have done that, they've been very active, and then they think when they, whatever their mandate was, to protect their own backyard, then they walk away and coming and going. But you have to stick with it, and you have to be in touch with every facet that you can even think of to get information from. Nothing is actually just given to you. You have to go looking for your own. We believe by getting it as far down as we possibly can, that we will be protecting most of Windsor. Unfortunately, they have identified the Talbot Road here in Church Road area as their entrance into the city, which is a neighborhood. I feel bad about that, but I believe those people that live along there and work along there have the right to determine what they want to happen in their area. It's not up to me to say, or the truck watch, or anybody else. It's them that have to decide what they want, and I hope that we get the same respect down here in Sandwich, that we have to speak up and decide and say what we want to live with and what we don't want to live with, and I just hope that the various levels of government respect our right to do so.